So welcome to this talk. My name is Alex, and I'm here to remind you of the way forward, because we are being overwhelmed with information in our society at the moment, and people are getting very confused about how to proceed, how to stay sane, and which direction to move in when everything around them seems so alien, so unusual, and so unpredictable. So it's really important we have a clear understanding of what we need to focus on and which direction we need to move in, so that we can put all of our energy in the right direction. Because we waste so much of our energy on giving our attention to things which aren't really of any benefit to us, giving our attention to things which essentially only make us feel afraid, giving our attention to things which have nothing to do with our evolution and with us, how can I put this, transcending all of our personal limitations, all of which are fears, by the way. All of our limitations are essentially fears and insecurities, and we have to transcend them. This is the time, this is the moment for us to focus on transcending our fears, our insecurities, our limitations, the things which stop us embracing life. Now, of course, we can look at our society and we can say, well, there's so many reasons to be afraid. There's so many reasons why to hold back and just to wait and see how things turn out. But you'll be waiting forever. You'll be waiting forever for it to seem like the right moment, for you to seem like, to give yourself permission to move forward and do what it is that you really feel motivated to do, that you really feel passionate about doing. Because that's the secret, is to unlock that spring of passion which is bubbling up inside your heart. That is what we need to do. That is the power that nothing can stop. When we tap into that passion, that enthusiasm, that sense of purpose, then nothing can stop us. And then we can be a real force for change in this world. And then you will not be caught up in your fears. When you've connected to your passion, and we all have passion, by the way, we all have a deep, powerful passion in our heart. But for many people it's been quashed and oppressed and held down, and they've become disconnected from it, thinking that they don't feel passionate about anything. But that's just a mental delusion. The fact is, it's there, that your passion is there, but you've gotten distracted. We've all gotten distracted by our society, by the theatre of our society, by politics, by the news, by the entertainment industry, all giving us a million reasons why we should just keep looking at our screens, just wait until things go back to normal, until we feel happy, until we feel motivated. There is no time to wait. Your happiness, your purpose, and your passion lie in your hands. And I'm here to remind you that you have to, switch it back on. You have to reconnect to that passion. You have to reconnect to your power. Because we are being made weak. We're being told we should feel afraid of everything. We're being told we should feel at the mercy of what's going on in the world, at the mercy of anything, extraterrestrials, at the mercy of, climate collapse, at the mercy of so many things which seem to be out of our control. And that makes us weak, when we feel we're at the mercy of external forces. And essentially fear is an external force, by the way. When we allow ourselves to be threatened by our fears and feel at the mercy of our fears, it's no different to the threat of something else. It's an external force. Fear is an external force that we are convinced by our clever mind to be afraid of. But fear is not a threat to you. Fear is a mental misunderstanding. It's a mental trick of the mind. It's a delusion. Because you don't have to react to those thoughts in your mind. You don't have to react to even the worst thought. If you can think right now of the worst thought that you really don't want to happen, the worst thought that will make you feel really anxious and really terrified, you can actually have that thought right now and stay relaxed. You can actually have that thought and not react to it. And that is the secret to being free from fear. It's anchoring your attention in the place of non-reactivity, which is the peace in your heart. So having your attention on this sense of relaxation in your heart. When your heart is relaxed, it is impossible to be in fear. And I know this from over 20 years of experience, of understanding fear and learning about fear and releasing my fear. You cannot be afraid when your heart is relaxed. So that's the anchor, the sense of relaxation in our heart. And whenever we notice our heart getting tense, we just come back. We relax our heart, just like a muscle. The heart is just like a muscle. You can relax your hand, you can relax your arm, you can relax your shoulders, and we have to practice relaxing our heart because we cannot be afraid. We are immune to fear. If we can relax our heart in any situation, no matter what our thoughts are telling us, no matter how bad our mind wants to convince us it is, and it'll always convince us that the future is darker than the present. The mind will always trick us into projecting our fear into the future. It's always coming around the next corner. It's always something ahead of us. Because when we're in the moment, we can deal with things which are in the moment. We can actually deal with any challenges that arise in the moment because we are very resilient and very versatile and very resourceful creatures. So our mind will always tell us the fear is in the future, that something bad's going to happen, something you can't deal with. And that's the mind tricking you. So we've got to learn to be very wary of the mind and kind of awake to its tricks. So many tricks. And its ultimate trick, and it's essentially its only trick, is to get our heart reacting to the thoughts it presents us with. It wants our heart in tension. Because when our heart's in tension, we are weak. We become at the mercy of the energy of fear. We become weak, we become vulnerable, and we can be victimized by the energy of fear, which is intelligent, by the way. The energy of fear is intelligent. It comes from an intelligent source, not a loving source, but it comes from an intelligent source, which wants to prey upon us, it's like a parasite. There's a spiritual parasite which wants to convince us to contract our heart so that we are weak, so that we experience negative emotions, fear, grief, misery, doom, anxiety, and then that parasite feeds on those negative emotions. That parasite grows from the negative emotions that it feeds off. So that's its main objective. Its primary objective is to get us feeling negative, anxious, worried, afraid, and feeling weak, so that it can suck all of our life force out of us in the form of negative emotions. So, our top priority is guarding our heart, keeping our heart in peace, no matter what thoughts arise. And it's a practice. It's good to sit down every day and say to your mind, okay, I'm going to keep my heart relaxed. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to keep my heart relaxed. Now give me your worst thoughts. Come on, do your best to try and drag me into fear. Do your best to try and make me anxious. Do your best to make my heart tense. And then we are choosing to take away the power of fear. And we sit down, rather than, hoping that our fears don't arise, and rather than just kind of hoping that we don't have to deal with any challenging ideas or any challenging thoughts or anything which scares us. And when they do arise, just try and distract ourselves, which is what we pretty much do on a daily basis. We try and avoid our fears. That keeps us weak, because that means we're scared of those thoughts. When we're hoping they don't come up, when we're hoping our fears don't come up, it's because we're afraid of them. And we don't want to deal with them. We don't want to look at them. But when we come at it from the other angle and we say, okay, I know that I'm stronger than my fears, or I want to be stronger than my fears. And so I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to prove to my fears, I'm going to prove to my ego that it cannot manipulate me. Then you sit down, you relax your heart, and you don't let anything take you into fear. You just keep your heart relaxed and you trust. You trust that you are protected. You trust that what your heart tells you is true. You trust that the peace that your heart tells you is true. That is reality. Not all these dark fears that your mind wants to convince you of. Not all these dark visions of the future, these visions of suffering, these visions of misery and insecurity. That's not true. And I can verify that none of that is true. But if we believe them, then it becomes our personal reality. And it becomes a reality of fear and darkness. And we become completely weak and at the mercy of something which is actually Tiny. Thoughts are tiny. They're so small and insignificant. But when we believe them, we're allowing them to convince us that they're more powerful than us, and they are not. Fears are not more powerful than the light of God, which shines through our mind. But they try and trick us. So we have to be willing to show that we have the power. We have to be willing to stand up and prove that we are not weaker than any fear, because we're not. We have to prove it to ourselves. And there's no option. We have to prove to ourselves the strength we have. We have to show ourselves, hang on a second, this is who I really am. I'm not threatened by anything. That I am protected. And that I'm not threatened by thoughts. We have to prove it to ourselves by confronting the mind and saying, okay, let me see how powerful you really are. And then we stay in peace with our heart relaxed, and allowing the mind to present us with its fearful thoughts, and not running away, not hoping it doesn't, but just saying, okay, that's fine. You show me whatever fearful thought you want to. I'm going to stay in peace because I have the power to choose that. I have the power to choose peace. And you have no power to make me choose anything else. That's where we experience our true freedom. Because we are free from the influence, the manipulation of the fearful mind, fearful thoughts. We are free of its influence. And that's where we feel really our true power. And we get a true perspective of what life really is and who we really are. And how God flows through us. How the light of God illuminates our mind and illuminates our heart. And nothing is greater than that. Nothing is greater than that light of God. And that's such an important revelation. Such an important revelation. Nothing more is more important than that. So as I said, we have this force that runs through us, the force of God. And it activates our heart with this passion, this purpose, and this excitement for doing what we are here to do. We are all here with a mission. We are all here with a purpose. And we have to remember what that is. And when you connect with your mission and your purpose, and it's a creative thing, by the way, it's a very creative purpose. God has given you creative gifts. God has given you creative skills and abilities that you can use for the benefit of others. You can use to make other people's lives easier. You can use to help people traverse this sense of fear about the future, this sense of insecurity. You can help people get past this period of insecurity, get past this obstacle by sharing your passion, sharing your care, sharing your light with them. And that's actually what you're here to do. You are here to help your human family. Now, I can't tell you in what way you're here to help them, because that's your personal mission. And, you know, if you spend a little time every day just asking yourself or asking God, what is it you have to give to the world? What is it you're here to do? How is it you can help people? And listen to what God tells you. And it'll be something far more exciting to your heart than you believe, far more exciting to your heart than you think. It'll stir something up in your heart which will bring about this enthusiasm, this passion for sharing what God's given you, sharing what God's put in your heart. And it could just be your passion for sharing passion. Because really passion is the fire of God in our heart. Our passion is it's indescribable. It's like a divine fire. And our heart is supposed to be burning brightly with that fire. And it radiates its light. When our heart's burning with that fire, a light emanates from our heart. And that light touches other people. It illuminates the life. It illuminates the life of other people. It touches people. And it wakes up the passion in their heart. So it's almost like our passion alone is enough to wake up the passion in somebody else's heart. And so even if that's your life mission, it's just to share your passion. It doesn't really matter what your passion is, as long as it's not a passion for destruction, as long as it's not a passion for selfishness and just consuming consuming and self gratification. We have a passion to shine. We have a passion to share, a passion to express, to expand, and to radiate the light of God. And so this is the best path you can be on. There's nothing more satisfying, nothing more rewarding, nothing more enjoyable, nothing more fulfilling than sharing your passion. But you first have to discover your passion. What is it that you feel enthusiastic about? What is it you'd love to share with the world? What is it you'd love to talk to people about? What is it you know something about which is really useful to others, which you know from personal experience to be true? So just spend some time today and tomorrow just considering what it is, your gift to share. Like I say, even if it's just your passion, even if you have this passion inside of yourself for life, a passion for communication, a passion for talking to people, a passion for sharing passion, that alone is enough, because that's what people need. People need their passion to be switched on, because that's what makes them strong. That's what makes them impervious to manipulation, impervious to the voice of fear which tells you to shrink and to curl up and to feel weak. Passion is the antidote to that, because it's the power of God in your heart. It's very important to be physically active, not to be so sedentary, not to allow our energy levels to get stuck and go to drop down to where we just feel demotivated and we feel uninspired and unenthused. It's really important every day to do something which makes you feel really energized. It's good to do it first thing in the morning and even last thing in the evening. Maybe it's taking a walk, or going for a run, or listening to some really positive, uplifting music. Be careful not to listen to dark music or music with a negative message. But music which inspires you, which makes you feel excited and makes you want to share what you feel with others. This is the crux of the matter. Whatever makes you feel enthusiastic about sharing what you feel in your heart, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to focus on. That's what you need to give yourself, is the inspiration which excites your heart and makes you want to share what's in your heart. Share the enthusiasm in your heart with others, because this is your purpose. There's a fire in your heart which you need to pass on to other people, and it comes through your passion, through your excitement, through your enthusiasm. And it's not just about, being totally positive all the time. It's about caring. More than anything, if you think about a mother who loves her children, and she's so passionate about protecting her children, so passionate about guiding her children and giving them what they need. This is the kind of passion. This is the kind of if we look at everybody we meet, or everybody on the planet, as our family, and they need our help. Everybody who's in darkness, everybody who's suffering, they need our help. And so we can feel deeply passionate about helping people, about lifting them up, reaching our hand out and saying, hey, you don't need to be anxious, you don't need to be worried, you don't need to be afraid, because together we can support each other, together we can be strong, together we can create a great force of fearlessness. And so we all have something that our human family need, and we need to share it. And so I'm sharing this with you because I care about you. I have a passion for the light, a passion for truth, and a passion for joy, a passion for communication, a passion for honesty, and a passion to show the love, to put out the love into the world that's in my heart, to put it out there and just show it and to say, look, this is what we were looking for, this is what we need. And it's within our reach. We just have to wake it up. We just have to turn up the volume on our heart and forget about that stupid voice of fear. Stop listening to that stupid voice of fear, which is tricking us, deluding us, confusing us, giving us this false picture of reality where we should be despondent, where we should be uninspired. If you're feeling uninspired and you're feeling tired, it's because you've been listening to the wrong voice. There are essentially two voices in our mind. One of them is the voice of negativity. And any negative thought has come from that voice of negativity. And no voice of negativity is useful to us. We need a voice which says, we need to be listening to the voice which says, I can rise to this challenge. I have the things within my heart, I have the abilities. God has prepared me to rise to this challenge and become stronger by rising. Because that's how you get stronger. You get stronger by arising to the challenges. And all the challenges come from God, by the way. God has orchestrated your life. He's laid out a path to your life. And He's given you hurdles that are a little bit higher each time. They're a little bit higher. And you need to jump, or you need to rise to these hurdles so that you become more, how can I say, more athletic in your ability to deal with the hurdles that God puts in front of you. You become stronger. You get a greater spring in your step, that nothing can stop you. You know that you can deal with any hurdle. And we have to come to that point where we know we can deal with any hurdle that is put in front of us, because ultimately it's been put there by God, or God has allowed it to be put there because He knows it can make us stronger. Any challenge you face, any obstacle in your life, any setback you experience, anything that overcomes you with a sense of being overwhelmed or tempts you into feeling defeated, it's a test from God. Are you going to believe that you can be defeated? Are you going to listen to the voice of defeat? Or are you going to listen to the voice of triumph, which tells you you can overcome this? You can be stronger than anything because you are. You are capable of being stronger than anything and rising to every challenge and being so much stronger than you can imagine, so much stronger than you ever thought possible. And you're only as strong as you need to be because God is with you and God is empowering you and God has given you everything you need, everything, bar nothing, everything you need to overcome the greatest challenge. All you have to do is trust God. Have faith that you can overcome everything. And that's the faith that we need in our mind. This state of mind where we it's not a defeatist state of mind. It's a victorious state of mind. A mind of triumph where we know that we can rise to any challenge and overcome it and grow stronger through rising to that challenge and overcoming. So this is a path of strengthening our heart, becoming a stronger and stronger person, a more joyful person, a more trusting person, and a more passionate person. And as I said, your passion is the force that keeps you going. So you've got to keep your passion alive. And that's why I focus on things like dance. I love dance. I love dance music. I love uplifting, joyful dance music that inspires us, that floods us with joy. Because joy strengthens our heart more than anything else. We can strengthen our heart in many ways. And I'm also focused on nutrition. I've been a nutritionist. I focused on healing nutrition for about 20 years. So I know a lot about nutrition and how nutrition can strengthen our body, strengthen our heart, strengthen our blood. If we choose to eat well and choose to eat very natural foods and not so much cooked foods and really nourishing foods, things like spirulina and hemp seeds and wheatgrass juice. There's nothing better that you can put in your body than wheatgrass juice, fresh wheatgrass juice. It's so easy to grow, but it's things like this that help you become stronger. Because either you choose to rise to the challenge and become stronger, or you sink into a state of defeat. And trust me, that is not the way you want to go. Because if you allow yourself to be defeated by what's happening in the world, or defeated by what's going on in your own mind, then the future is only going to be dark. You can't allow yourself to be defeated and expect to see a bright future. Expect to see things unfold and things be resolved before your eyes, because they won't be. The light that will project a future of light has to come through you. You have to harness that light. You have to let that light flood through your heart, flow through your body, illuminate your mind, and then we see the path of light ahead of us. Only when we rise to the challenge, only when we turn away from a defeatist mentality, that is when we see the path forward open up in front of us. And it's a path of light, a path of beauty, a path of victory and infinite possibilities. So rewarding, so enjoyable, so nourishing, so loving, so giving, so healing for all the people around us. That is the potential you hold. And all you have to do is rise to the challenges. Refuse to be defeated or refuse to be pulled into fear by your negative thinking mind. Defy the negative mind. Defy those negative thoughts and say, no, I am not going to be defeated by you. I am not going to submit to your defeatist thoughts and allow them into my heart. I'm going to keep my heart at peace, keep my heart a place of victory and triumph, because I have that choice. And you do have that choice. And I'm just here reminding you that you have to make that choice. And every time a challenge arises, you have to renew your commitment to that choice, the choice of victory. You have to renew it, because God is going to allow you to be tested. He's going to allow you to be tested. When you think you're on top and in control of everything, He's going to allow a challenge to come to you to see, well, how committed are you? How strong is your commitment to victory? How strong is your commitment to overcoming all obstacles? And so it's up to us to reaffirm that commitment every time we're challenged, every time something comes along that we'd rather didn't come along, every time something difficult comes along, every time someone comes along who really pushes our buttons or really wants to drag us down, we have to say, I'm not going that direction. I've turned my back on defeat. I'm a person of victory. I'm a person I'm a person who overcomes the challenges. And with that faith in your mind, strengthened and emboldened by the power of God, who is always there helping you, always there to take the burden off your shoulders. God is always there to take the burden off your shoulders. If you keep close to Him, if you stay close to Him and keep Him in your mind and keep your heart with Him, He will carry the burden for you. So you've just got to keep your mind in His realm of victory, in His realm of light, in His realm of passion and joy and enthusiasm and freedom and light and celebration. That's where you belong. So you have to make sure that nothing pulls you away from there, because that's where you belong. And there is a force trying to pull you into this realm of darkness, into this realm of defeat, into this realm where you have no power, you can't do anything about the situation. You're a victim. And that force works through your mind, giving you thoughts of defeat, giving you thoughts of hopelessness, giving you thoughts of agitation and criticism and judgment, complaint, and negativity. That's how it tries to pull you into its realm. So you have to be very wary of what's going on in your mind and what voice you are listening to. If it's a voice of negativity, then that force of darkness is trying to pull you over into its realm of defeat, of weakness. So, the good news is we are free to choose. And I'm here just to remind you that in every moment you have that freedom to choose. And if you strengthen yourself, strengthen your body, strengthen your heart, nourish yourself with a lifestyle that makes you stronger. Don't consume all the media information. Don't poison your mind with all the negativity and violence and doom and pessimism that the media is trying to flood you with. The media is trying to pollute you with. Don't poison yourself. Keep your heart pure. Spend your time in nature. Spend your time with your family, doing things in nature, having fun, exercising, taking bike rides, playing. There is always a healthier option available. With every moment of time we have, we can waste that moment or we can embrace that moment. And so again, it's up to us to choose What are we going to do? Are we going to strengthen ourselves, or are we going to weaken ourselves? And the choices are in your hands. So thank you for listening to this talk. I wish you well, and God bless you.